Artemis. You laughing at me, Artemis? Yeah, you laughing at me, baby? Huh? Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Artemis, what are you doing? So, I'm making a video on why you shouldn't own a bird. You shouldn't own a bird if you have a short temper. You shouldn't own a bird if you like to dominate your animals and train them with force. You should not own a bird if you do not have the time to give them attention. You should not own a bird if you are not willing to clean its cage. You should not own a bird if you're not willing to be patient. You should not own a bird if you're not willing to be kind. You should not own a bird if you're not willing to be understanding. You should not own a bird if you can't handle bird poop. You should not own a bird if you already have a loving companion, an animal, an ally that takes up all of your time. You should not own a bird if you don't like birds. You should not own a bird if you want to keep it as a decoration in its cage 24/7. You should not own a bird if you believe in the idea that they don't need to be dealt with, they don't need attention, that they can just sit in a cage and be a decoration. These are reasons why you should not own a bird. You should not own a bird if you are known for rehousing your pets. Birds are the number one pet for rehoming, and they're the number third most popular pet. If that tells you something. Number one being dogs, number two being cats. Sorry, cat owners, but you're not number one. Once a bird is tamed, they cannot live in the wild. You should not own a bird if you're planning on re-releasing it back into the wild once you get bored of it, because it will die. Isn't that right, Artemis? Artemis! Give me a kiss. Good baby. Good baby. Give me a kiss. He wants some kissies. You should not own a bird if you don't want someone to be your ride or die. These are reasons why you shouldn't own a bird. You should not own a bird if you're afraid of getting bit by a bird beak. They do that when they're curious. They don't bite hard unless they're defending their home. But they do softly bite to understand the texture and the structure of objects. And that includes fingers and cheeks and earlobes and hair and anything else that they find curious, they'll put between their beak like a child and a toddler, like a child and a toddler puts in their mouth. That's what they do. If so if you can't handle that, do not own a bird. If you can't have a pet for a long period of time, I'm talking a decade plus, if you're not willing to have this type of dedication for a pet, do not own a bird. You should not own a bird. If you move a lot, you probably should not own a bird unless you've had the bird since they were a child through all these moving processes so that it has been a part of its growth cycle. Because that's a different story. You should not own a bird If you can't stand the sound of bird chirps and bird squawks and bird language, you should not own a bird if you expect the bird to speak English or copy your phrases. Not all birds do, and even if you buy a bird that's commonly known to speak, that does not guarantee that it will. If you're after a bird that is going to mimic you, and if that's your primary reason to get a bird, then go buy a toy bird with one of those built-in speakers that will mimic you. Whether or not a bird can talk or mimic you shouldn't depend on whether or not you love it. You should own a bird. Well, I'll save that for another video. Like, favorite, and subscribe if you enjoy birds, if you love animals. And if you want more content like this, let me know with the interaction down below. What kind of birds videos do you want to see? This has been Darth Blint, and may your chains be broken.